wrestling with himself.
Okay, we will call this regular council meeting to order for January 23rd. It's 3 p.m. And I will ask Councillor Messaros to do the land acknowledgement, please.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. The town of Innisfil acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Thank you, Councillor Messaros. And Deputy Mayor, do we have, pardon me? There isn't one?
There isn't one this week.
Okay. So we'll go into the agenda, 3.1. We're going to add 8.2, which is a leave of absence request. And we're going to add 8.3, committee appointments. And we're going to delete 12.1, the in-camera item. And then I will please, does anybody else have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, then please have somebody make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Mayor Barclay, I would make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you. And then we'll go into the regular council meeting minutes for January the 9th. And when somebody's ready, please have a motion to accept these minutes.
I so move, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Harrison. Any comments, changes? No, all in favor? Okay, carried. And then we'll do the agenda and priorities meeting for January the 16th.
I'll move those minutes.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. Any changes? No? Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried, thank you. And we will move on to 5.1 with the CAO report, and today Director Vickers will be delivering that report to us.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So CAO Becker was away on vacation from January 3rd to the 10th. And thank you to Director of Operations, Stephen Kennedy, for taking on the added responsibilities of acting CAO. Mayor Barclay and Councillor Dunham are seeking council support, as both are requesting to attend the Economic Developers Alberta Conference held in Kananaskis, April 11th to 14th. In the absence of the forthcoming council professional development policy, it would be appropriate for council to make a motion if they deem their participation in the conference appropriate. Administration did meet with Fortis representatives in relation to the electrical franchise agreement. The contents were going to be discussed in the in-camera portion, but that will be bumped to a meeting likely next week or the next agenda in February. Members of council and administration, the Municipal Planning Commission, and the Subdivision Development Appeal Board attended planning and development training on January 13th, as well as attended Central Alberta CAO luncheon in Red Deer on the 20th. And just some other notes, the EDA conference registration is $675 per person and approximately $1,000 for travel and accommodation. So.
Okay, thank you, Director Vickers. And just so council knows, CAPE is actually paying my entry fee for that. Okay, can I please have somebody make a motion with respect to the Economic Developers Conference?
Mayor Barclay, I would make that motion that council approves yourself, Mayor Barclay, and Councillor Dunham to attend the 2023 Economic Developers Alberta Conference in Kananaskis, April 11th to 14th.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions about that? No? Okay, all in favor? All right, carried. And then we'll have someone please approve the CAO report for January the 23rd. Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, that council approves the chief administration report dated January 23rd, 2023 as information.
Perfect. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we will move on to 5.2, the council action control. If there's any questions about anything, please bring them up. Councillor Heistad?
Yeah, just the FCM. You know what I was gonna say is, can we bump that back potentially, give it another month or so?
You know what, how about we take it off like we had
Yeah,
before?
let's
and
do
then-
that.
And then we can put it
Go
back
for it.
on when there's some direction and a motion made with that
Sounds good.
direction.
Thank
How's
you.
that?
That's great.
So we'll remove that. Yeah. Okay, then I'll have somebody please make a motion to accept the action control as information. Councillor Messaros?
Thanks, I'll make that motion, Mayor Barclay.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move on to 6.1, request for decision on the business citizen recognition with Director Vickers.
Perfect, thank you, Mayor Barclay. So at the last council meeting, a report was brought forward before council with a draft citizen recognition policy and a business recognition policy. And by doing so, we would need to repeal the citizen milestone / achievements recognition policy. So those were brought forward before council, and they had their, they were able to give review and comment on it. Council has made their recommendations to each policy. The changes have been made, and the policies are now attached for council's final review and approval. So a summary of the changes that have been made. So the citizen recognition policy, so we did change to individual or team medal recipients of provincial, national, or international competition. That opens it up for first, second, third placing. As well, then we did add, it's actually in spot 4, at the discretion of the town to recognize as an individual's exceptional arts achievement. So then that would clear for any of that kind of thing. And then the business recognition policy. So there was some changes made to the timing and the dates. So the business and organizations will be recognized for their years in service beginning at 10 years and increments of 5 years thereafter. Then we added a 25-year anniversary. So business and organization milestone anniversary gift may be presented for a 25-year anniversary. And then we changed the further anniversary to 40 years, and then in 10-year increments after that. And those are the larger gifts, like that's the plaque or a flower or some other item. The first item at the beginning and at the 10 years, those are just those certificates at that point, but they can be a very public certificate and an appreciation for pictures and things like that. So unless there's any further questions on either one of those policies, if you'd like to look any more, I would be looking at 3 different motions, 2 to pass each policy and 1 to repeal the old policy.
All right, thank you, Director Vickers. Does anybody have any comments about anything that's been added? Okay, if not, then we'll have somebody please make the first motion.
Mayor Barclay, I'll make the first motion. The council repeals Citizens Milestones Achievements Recognition Policy 2016-009.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And then somebody please make the second motion. Councillor Bates?
I'll move that council approve Citizens Recognition Policy 2023-001.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All in favor? All right, carried. And then the third motion. Councillor Heistad?
That council approves business recognition policy 2023-002.
Perfect. Any questions? Nope. All in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you, Director Vickers. That's great. And we will move on to 7.1, Community Services, and a request for decision on Bylaw 1470A77 with Manager Shaw or Director Jenkins, I guess.
If
We can change.
Mayor Barclay was open to it, could we skip to 7.2?
Of course.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If Manager Shaw does not arrive, I will do it. but-
Sure. Okay. I'll welcome Manager McKenzie up to the desk, and we'll do 7.2, request for decision on FCSS funding. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So I'm here today to request a decision regarding the 2023 Family and Community Support Services external funding based on the recommendations of the FCSS Advisory Board. So annually, the FCSS Advisory Board reviews grant applications from local organizations to support preventative social programming within the Innisfil community. The FCSS Board met on Thursday, January 5th to discuss recommendations for the distribution of the 2023 FCSS grant funding in the amount of $120,000. So the municipality has recently entered into a 3-year funding agreement, so 2023 to 2025, in which the town of Innisfil will receive $207,592 in provincial funding annually, with a minimum contribution from the municipal side of things. This remains the same as our previous funding agreement. The FCSS Board is recommending the distribution of the 2023 grant funding as per the enclosed chart. So taking a look at that, the Chinook's Edge School Division Family School Wellness Program, which is a program that provides school-based early intervention in the areas of social, emotional well-being, resilience, and mental health for children and youth 0 to 18. And so this program provides 3 full-time staff in all 3 of our public schools here in town. The Chinook's Edge School Division YES program, so YES stands for Youth Empowerment and Support, which provides social emotional learning programs to promote mental health and wellness through both universal and targeted programs for students kindergarten to grade 8. The Henday Association for Lifelong Learning applied to support a afternoon cooks program, which is a 9-week program that will be offered twice throughout the year. And this will support the facilitation of this cooking program. The focus is on general skill development, but a piece of it is to support the increased independence and strengthen interpersonal skills. The Innisfil and District Victim Services applied for funding. The board approved funding for volunteer training. So this is for both new and current advocates. The Innisfil Public Library is looking for funding for Connect and Learn at the library. So those are 2 separate programs, one being the Food for Life program that is going to teach youth and families the skills required to prepare healthy snacks and meals, and a Life Skills 101, my apologies, will offer programming to support the development of various life skills for youth, and they are looking to engage community members to share their expertise to support youth on their path to adulthood. The Innisfil Seniors Drop-In Society, the board approved funding for program coordinator wages to support the ongoing facilitation of programs and activities at the drop-in center. And the Red Deer Catholic School Board, so our Catholic school here in town, to support their BEAR program, which BEAR stands for Blessing, Empathetic, Ambassadors, and Reliable. This funding will support administration and the counseling team in offering training opportunities, guest speakers, and workshops in the areas of social justice, empathy, and trauma. As far as service level impacts, it is a minimal impact to our current FCSS staffing. The funding agreements that are created, and we continue to liaise with our funded agencies throughout the year for a wide variety of reasons. Within these funding agreements is also all of the necessary final reporting requirements. These requirements outline all of our need for statistical information, financial accounting, as well as any reporting related to the FCSS provincial outcome measures that are outlined in their grant application. And so financial impacts, the 2023 FCSS operating budget has $120,000 allocated for grants to local agencies and organizations to support preventative social programming. And the FCSS Advisory Board is recommending the following distribution of the 2023 FCSS grant funding to the following applicants.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Can I please have somebody make the motion, and then we can take questions if there are any. Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I move that council accept funding recommendations to allocate 2023 FCSS grant funding to Chinook's Edge Division Family School Wellness Program and YES Youth Empowerment and Support Program, Henday Association for Lifelong Learning, Innisfil and District Victim Services, Innisfil Public Library, Innisfil Seniors Drop-In Society, Red Deer Catholic School Board, St. Marguerite Burgoyne's Catholic School for total disbursement amount of $120,000 as per recommendations put forward by the FCSS Advisory Board.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Harrison. Anybody have any questions about any of the funding? Councillor Messaros?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. This is fantastic. Thank you for the report and all of the funds that are being distributed to these great programs. I noticed that quite a few of the programs you were able to get very close to what they had asked for. And I guess my question is kind of how did you make your decisions about how much you were going to give to each of the organizations and which ones were going to get, how did you decide which ones were going to get kind of closer to what they asked for as opposed to the others?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of FCSS funding is dictated to us how we are able to spend it as per the province. They need to meet certain prevention criteria. Some of the grant application asks were either a little gray or on that outside line of what we are able to fund. Some of it was simply certain aspects of the grant the board didn't feel was the best use of dollars. Others, it was simply we had to make some decisions as far as how far of a reach and impact some of these programs have versus some others.
Yeah, perfect. Good enough. Thank you very much. Thanks for your report.
Anything else? Okay, we have the motion to approve this funding. All in favor? All right, carried. Thank you so much. Okay. And we will go to 7.1 now, request for decision on Bylaw 1470A77 with Manager Shaw. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Sorry for being late, but I was dealing with someone who was interested in purchasing land in Innisfail, so we're still working on that.
You're excused then. Yeah, it's okay, yeah.
So I have before you a bylaw that seeks to deal with legal non-conforming uses within certain residential districts within our community. It's a bylaw for first reading, standard process with bylaws. We come before you to ask for first reading and then to establish a public hearing date. So the purpose of today's meeting is that we'll ask you for your consideration for giving first reading to the bylaw and then also for establishing a certain date for the public hearing. So the purpose of the bylaw is, as I said before, is that we've become aware that in certain residential districts, through over the years with the land use bylaw changes and district changes, that there are some uses that are now what are deemed to be legal non-conforming. So they can carry on as they are, but if they were to be substantially destroyed above their foundation, then they would have to comply with the district that they're located in. So this is a means of trying to be able to allow them, if it's a single family home in a multifamily district, then they would have the avenue available to them to reconstruct their single family home within that district. Right now our hands are somewhat tied because of the fact that we don't have that mechanism available. So, of course, we don't wish this to ever happen to anybody, but it does happen from time to time, and what we're trying to do now is to be able to address that should it ever come up in the future. So we're before you today for first reading of the bylaw and establishing a public hearing date.
Okay, thank you, Manager Shaw. Could I please have someone make the first motion? Councillor Wing.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I would move that council give first reading to Bylaw 1470-A77 to address legal non-conforming uses within the residential single-family district R1A, the residential single-family district R1B, the residential multifamily district R3, and the residential transition district RT when they are substantially damaged above their foundations.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Manager Shaw? Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay, through to Manager Shaw. Does this help with the insurance implications that because I understand originally there was an insurance company that wouldn't they couldn't get insurance coverage for the way it was worded before. So does this look after that concern of that one resident?
Through the chair to Councillor Harrison, I believe that it does. Certainly it provides a little bit more certainty in terms of if something does happen, then there is an avenue available to the homeowner to be able to rebuild on their property.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay, and we have the motion. Everyone in favor, please. Okay, carried. And then we will have somebody please make the second motion to establish a date for a public hearing. Councillor Messaros.
Thank you. I'd like to move that council establishes a public hearing date of February 27th, 2023 to receive input on Bylaw 1470-A77, beginning at 3 p.m. in the council chambers at the town of Innisfil, being 4943 53rd Street.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you very much. All right, and we will move on to 7.3, request for decision on PACE transportation with Director Jenkins.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So we're looking for council to make a motion and provide direction with respect to a new service delivery model for the PACE transportation service. So the town will resume responsibility for the operation of the PACE transit vehicles from the Legion in April 2023. In November, an RFP was issued on APC and the town's website looking for interest from contractors respecting the provision of this service. One response was received from Prairie Bus Lines. Council and administration have had several discussions on the PACE bus service delivery, including a presentation last week from Southland Prairie Bus Line Services. So essentially, administration had identified various options for how this service could be provided following the cease of our agreement with the Legion. The first one being the town taking on operations, the second being a contracted service. The third option that could be considered would be to reach out to other local service clubs or organizations that may be interested. I did have one service club express some curiosity about that potential, although it does present similar issues and challenges that we were finding with the Legion service, even with respect to our health and safety programs and some of those risk and liabilities. But if council so chooses, that is an avenue we could explore further. At the current time, staff is looking to recommend a one-year service contract through Prairie Bus Lines for the term of April 1st, 2023 through March 2024. This would be under a contract which essentially is priced at $54.21 per service hour. So this is calculated and includes the cost for drivers, the dispatch and call center, the booking app, driver training, uniforms, phones, tablets, vehicle registration and insurance, and basic cleaning and washing of vehicles. So essentially that cost does not cover fuel and any repairs and maintenance beyond sort of the basic washing and cleaning of the vehicles. So our current budget allows for the operation of one vehicle for approximately 43 hours a week, which would be essentially maintaining the current 8:30 to 4:30 service, with the second vehicle being booked on an as-needed basis for out-of-town trips. Adjustments to these hours can be made and evaluated throughout the term of the agreement. So an example given there that if we did want to resume a weekend service time of 5 hours, that would be calculated out at that service rate. So adding 5 hours on a Sunday would constitute approximately $14,000. So we can work through that. I think we'll work with the contractor if we do move forward as well, even looking at our current hours. When I go through some of the lists, we could probably shift from maybe 9 to 5 even. Apart from the out-of-town trips, it seems like most of the trips are sort of 9:30 or later. Different things like that that may be able to maximize those service hours. At this point, the intent is to leave the rates as they have been. Again, we can evaluate as we move forward in terms of if we see increased ridership, perhaps in-town rates can be lowered, or if we're seeing that those out-of-town trips are costing substantially more than what the fare is, we can look at those as well. So in terms of the finances, the 3-year operating budget provides for $96,000 in 2023 and $120,000 in future years for the contracted operation of the transportation service. The town will also now collect estimated revenue of about $15,000. That's based on the Legion's recent financials. So that we could see some change in that if we do see some increased ridership. And then as part of the 2024 budget discussions, we can determine if we want to continue with a longer-term contract or reevaluate those service delivery options when that contract would expire in March of 2024. In terms of public engagement and communication, again, if we move forward, we would develop comprehensive communication strategy to transition the service, again, utilizing local newspapers, social media, direct communications with seniors facilities. Southland has expressed that they would take part in in-person events to help users download apps, go through the process, and go through instructions and support. And then we would be updating the website, et cetera, with updated phone numbers, that sort of thing. So administration is recommending a motion to enter into a contract with Prairie Bus Lines for a 1-year term in an amount not to exceed the $120,000.
All right, thank you, Director Jenkins. Can I please have someone make the motion? Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, I recommend that council approve entering into a contract with Prairie Bus Lines Limited effective April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024 for the provision of transportation services in general accordance with the included information in an amount not to exceed $120,000.
Right, thank you. Any questions about this? Councillor Harrison?
Okay, thank you, Mayor Barclay, through to Director Jenkins. We haven't seen the contract yet and the conditions of the contract, but are there clauses in there to assure that the staff that are on board now are carried over and actually become part of this when Prairie takes over effective April 1st?
So that would be something I'm not sure that we can require them to hire, but they have expressed that they are very interested in hiring those individuals, but they would have to go through their own hiring and reference checks and those types of processes. Yeah.
Councillor Heistad?
Yeah, my point would be, I thought the presentation was really well done by Prairie Bus Lines. I really like the data collection that we're going to have and on a move forward basis, and I think I do want to thank the Legion for the work that they've done for number of decades really, and this is an evolution that I think in a 1 year's time we'll have a better understanding of how we can help our citizens with their busing. And thanks so much.
Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I just had one question through to Director Jenkins. So when we had, like we have one that's out of commission right now, when they were both running, were we always leaving one for the out-of-town trips, or were we sometimes doing two on locals, or?
My understanding is we were always trying to keep one bus in town as much as we can. I do hope the second bus will be back operational by April 1st, but that's the intent as well, is that essentially the one bus will be operating in the community, and then those out-of-town trips, which people book a little bit further in advance, that then those can be dealt with
Okay, thank you.
by the second vehicle.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I was just going to basically to say the same thing that Jason did. I thought the presentation was excellent, and I think that there's going to be a lot of room for expansion of the services and the budget that we're bringing in because of it. So,
Okay, Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay, through to Director Jenkins. Director Jenkins, going back to your comment about being approached by a service club, is it a potential opportunity that we might invite the community to become sponsors of this program and make financial contributions so that we can, not to alleviate the cost per ride, but to expand the service? I'm very concerned about not having service on the weekends.
We can certainly do that. The Lions Club was a very generous sponsor of the capital purchase of the second vehicle. And I know that they've never come to fruition, but opportunities even for sponsorship for things like, free rides on Tuesdays to the food bank, like ways that we could market things like that, being able to figure out approximately what that dollar amount would, so that whether it's a local business or a local club could make those types of contributions. Kristen also has had some recent conversations with the Golden Circle out of Red Deer, expressing some interest in volunteer driver programs similar to what we've heard from Drive Happiness. So we may be able to do some augmenting there with volunteer drivers through some of our clubs if they do have an interest in supporting that service as well.
I'm curious, Director Jenkins, would that be okay with Prairie bus lines? Like, has that been discussed, or?
So they wouldn't have, that would be a community sort of service outside of theirs.
Yeah.
And again, the revenue from the bus is coming to the town in that respect. So they're not attempting to, they want it to be as efficient and busy as possible,
sure.
but yeah.
And as far as the Sunday service that has been stopped, like, how will we determine if that should be back in place? I mean, is that just going to be by people phoning and requesting service on Sundays and somebody collecting that data, like Prairie collecting that data for us?
Well, we can look as we work through the contract if we want to tweak some hours out of the Monday to Friday to try the Sunday. And we can talk with Prairie and come back to council even when we have sort of the communication strategy. If we think that there's more demand on that Sunday, then maybe we don't need to go past 3 o'clock in the afternoon or that sort of thing. On certain days, we can look at that, and we will, once we sort of have a decision and know what that transition is going to look like time-wise, we can reach out to the lodges and the churches to better understand what their needs are.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's great. I'm very impressed last week with their presentation, and also just reiterate what Councillor Heistad and Messaros said. Thank you to the Legion for all that they've done the last several years looking after this, and looking forward to this service becoming even better than it has been. So we have a motion on the table. All in favor? Okay, carried unanimously. Okay, we will move into 8.1, the correspondence and information. Anybody have any questions about any of this? One thing we might want to look at as a council is to see if we want to get a table for item number 6. We can talk about that another time. And of course, number 8, we did get an internship approval grant, which is good. Is that posting going out soon, or?
So we have a couple of meetings lined up with the province to help us work through that, getting the postings out, because they post them through their job boards as well.
Okay, yep, sounds good. Okay, can I please have someone make a motion that we accept this as information?
Mayor Barclay will make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Dunham. All in favor? Okay, and we're going to move on to item 8.2, a request for a leave of absence. So I will turn it over to Councillor Heistad.
Thank you, Your Worship. I am asking, and I wrote some notes, just so you're aware, and usually I fly from the cuff, so I did. I wrote some notes. I'm not flying from the cuff, but I'm asking for requesting a leave of absence from January 23rd until the end of May 31st, 2023, for that time. And my reason being is that I will be running in the provincial election as an NDP candidate following the nomination meeting February 6th at the Innisfail Library, 6:30 to 8:30. How's that for a plug, Johnny? And can I keep on going? I did write some notes. If approved, I just couldn't see myself sitting here for 4 months and being paid by the taxpayers. I want individuals and everybody to know in the Innisfail-Sylvan riding, I'm committed to this next election, and 100% committed to running a great campaign and making sure that Innisfail and Sylvan is aware of my commitment overall. And of course, my last comment would be I'll be passing on my computer to administration for my leave as well, so that everybody knows that I'm not getting any inside correspondence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Heistad. So I will make a motion that we grant Councillor Heistad a leave of absence from going forward from today at the end of the meeting through to the end of May. Okay, and we can have some comments. I would just like to add, thank you, Councillor Heistad, for this. I think it really speaks to your integrity in this situation. We're fully aware that you don't have to leave, but at this point in time, you could have stayed until the end of April. And I think doing that now, it makes a clean break, and it also shows how committed you are to this process. So, we thank you for that. And
thank you. I guess it was a hard decision, and I just want all of you to know that it was a really hard decision, because we spent 15 months doing a lot of great work, and then I'll be away for just around 4 months. So it's
forever.
Yeah, well, I got to work my butt off, and I'm committed to doing that. But I really enjoy working with all of you. That was the tough part. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Barclay, and I'd just like to pass along to Councillor Heistad. I wish you every success in your 4-month endeavor here. It takes a big commitment to step out of one level of politics, one level of government, and you're going into the next level. So I wish you every success, and I fully support your 4-month leave of absence.
Councillor Messaros.
Yes, same here, Councillor Heistad. I'm going to miss sitting beside you here, and it's been awesome working together with you, and I wish you every success as well. I'm proud of the decision that you made a few weeks ago and today. So all the best to you. Yeah.
Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Yeah, I would echo everything that has been said, but as I've been thinking about this, I appreciate how experience at various levels of government can work together and make us all stronger and all better. And so you are going to learn a lot, Councillor Heistad, over the next 4 months relative to the campaign and relative to the provincial government. No matter what the results are, you will be a stronger politician and a stronger leader in the community, and we will all benefit one way or the other. So congratulations on making a really good decision.
Councillor Dunham, sorry, I couldn't
Thanks,
see
Mayor
your light.
Barclay. Kind of hard to follow that up there, Councillor Wing, but I as well want to offer my congratulations, Councillor Heistad. What you've brought over the last 15 months has definitely made this council a better place, and this town that we live in a better place, and I want to thank you for that, and I wish you all the best of luck. And it's as everyone has said, it's a very difficult decision to make, and I applaud you for stepping forward.
Councillor Bates.
Well, I can't be left out. So definitely wish you the best, and I do believe that your request for the leave is very much the appropriate thing to do, and we'll make it easier for all of us, and shows that level of professionalism. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion, we've had lots of discussion, all in favor? Okay, carried. And then we're going to move into 8.3, committee appointments. I know not everybody has the list in front of them. Maybe I do, yes, I do. So there's the Age-Friendly Community Committee, and I know they just had a meeting. And Councillor Heistad, we spoke previous to the meeting. They're probably going to meet every 2 months now, correct? Okay. So the alternate on that is Councillor Harrison, and they do meet in the afternoons. So are you able to step into that? Okay. So we'll have motions to put everybody in. We'll just go through the list. Then the Emergency Advisory Committee, we meet every quarter. Meetings are at 4 p.m. There's 4 of us. Mayor is on automatically and 3 councillors. So we need somebody. There is no alternate on there, but we need somebody who would like to step forward and put their name forward for that committee. Okay. Councillor Wing. Yeah, I'll just write that down. And then the Innisfail and District Historical Society, Councillor Bates is the alternate on that. Are you willing to step in there, Councillor Bates?
I am, but I'd like to also comment, I'm also the alternate for the Police and Safe
Yeah,
Communities.
I know that. We're going to get to that one next.
I think it would be good to spread it out, and I did get dipped into that community for a few months last term, and I think the Historical Society is a real easy one to drop into, so if I had a preference, I would stay with, if I was just doing one, and I think we should spread it out, I would do the Police and Safe Community, and that would be my preference.
Yeah, and I mean, the committees are pretty much spread out as they are, but it's just a matter of, can everybody get to meetings the time of day that they are?
Well,
That's.
I would probably do both,
Yeah.
but
Does anybody else want to do Historical Village? It's 7 p.m., right, Councillor Heistad, the meetings?
first
Once
Wednesday.
a month, first Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. No takers? Okay, then Councillor Bates will have you step in for now. And if you can't make it, let me know. I can.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you say your preference is the historical one
No,
or the next one?
police.
If I was not going to do both, which I don't, feel the need to do both.
And the Historical Society is once a month, 7 p.m. Wednesdays?
Yes.
I can step into that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Messaros. Okay, and then the Police and Safe Community Committee, will put Councillor Bates in to that one.
And I can sit in as an alternate on that, Mayor Barclay.
Yeah, we'll do the alternates another time. We'll just get everybody in place for now because we're a couple of weeks away from, we don't have a meeting next week, and then we have an A&P after that. So somebody can make a motion where we will, Councillor Harrison will go on to the Age-Friendly Community Committee. Councillor Wing will be added to the Emergency Advisory Committee. Councillor Messaros will go on to the Innisfail and District Historical Society. And Councillor Bates will go to the Policing and Safe Community Committee. So you don't have to repeat all that, but if somebody just wants to make that motion, or I could make you do all that.
motion, Mayor Barclay.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Dunham. Okay, all in favor? Okay, and then we can let the Historical Village know that there's Councillor Messaros will be taking over that. All right, great. So that is that. So we will go into, welcome CEO Becker.
Good timing.
Yeah. We'll go into council reports now. We'll begin with Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Well, last week was fairly quiet for me, but this week we do have the EFL workshop that starts tomorrow. We have STARS tour on Thursday and the CED advisory group meeting on Thursday.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Messaros?
Fingers get too cold, I think. Yeah, I was at the Tumbleweeds Festival on Saturday, and that was a lot of fun, and the weather was beautiful. I've had a little bit of citizen engagement this week, which has been new and different. I guess citizens, maybe they don't typically come to the introverts on on council, but one of the comments that I had was just in reference to our new outdoor skating arena and just how awesome they thought that was. They hadn't seen it yet. So I just wanted to pass that on to everybody. And then, yeah, tomorrow we've got the Innisfail Energy Hub. So thanks.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, Friday night I was at the Eagles game. They played Cremona, or was it Saturday? Okay, that doesn't sound, Johnny, you didn't hear that. Saturday. It was a good time. And also the tumbleweed event with the historical village was great. I was there for about an hour, and Anna and her team and Sherry did a great job. It was really good. So they must have had 250 plus this weekend. So thanks, Your Worship.
Thanks, Councillor Bates.
So last week I had the Mountain View Commission meeting, the Water Commission, and two previous councillors didn't mention they were also at the Revive Cannabis Tour.
That's right.
Too many free samples, I guess. And this, on Saturday, I also dropped into the village, the snow and tumbleweeds, and watched the the guys shoot each other as they shot into the snow, which was good. This week I have the Energy Hub Roadshow, the Stars Tour, and I have signed up to do barbecuing on Saturday at the library.
Perfect, Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Yeah, I was actually, last week I was invited by Leona Staples from the Jungle Farm to attend a local food movement meeting. That was last Tuesday. This is a group that's comprised of garden market vendors, large co-ops like the Innisfail Growers, City of Red Deer staff tasked with providing not only market spaces in the city, but certainly training for hobby gardeners and individuals hoping to increase and maximize their own food growing potential. So it's a kind of a passion of mine. I've been quite interested in the whole food security movement for about 20 years. So my plan is to invite the Innisfail Garden Club, should they be interested, to I'll provide them with program opportunities to participate with this movement. They may decide to be involved, which would be great. The Chamber of Commerce is hosting a meeting, an open house tomorrow, January 24th, in an attempt to inform a plan that will hopefully see this organization grow and flourish. We did send out a survey last week. We had good feedback from members, but we would like to have some more people participate in the meeting tomorrow. So we're busy on the phones calling folks about that. I enjoyed the business visit and tour at Revive Cannabis last Thursday. I thought that they did a great job. They were certainly welcoming and well prepared for us, and I learned a lot. So I enjoyed that. And yeah, the Snow and Tumbleweeds Winter Festival was lots of fun. It was a beautiful day, thanks Mother Nature. The big horses and the wagon rides and the loud guns certainly make 4-year-olds stand up and take notice, so I appreciated that. We, as a family, had a wonderful time. And yeah, this week sees the Energy Hub, the Stars Tour, and then Literacy Day celebrations on Saturday. So I look forward to seeing you all at the library. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay, and through to council and constituents. Relatively, again, a very quiet week. I just want to remind everybody that the Legion is currently looking for a new general manager. So it's out there. It's being posted on many platforms. So if there's anyone out there that's interested in taking over at the Legion, feel free to get your application and resume sent in through to the president. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the workshop tomorrow on EFL, so that should be good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Harrison. And last week I was involved in the Innisfail Energy Hub and the Energy Summit group meeting that we had. Out of that came an event this evening at Darkwoods. And then did the Revive Cannabis visit, as well as Movers and Growers invited me to come out Friday to check their activities out and to say thank you to the town for providing the space for that program. There's about 25 people out there on Friday morning. Brad from the medical clinic does a wonderful job with everybody, and I know pre-COVID they were getting 60 to 70 people, so it'd be great to see those numbers ramp back up, but they were having lots of fun. This week, of course, this evening have the Innisfail Energy Hub meeting at Darkwoods, and then the workshop tomorrow, going on the STARS tour on Thursday, the Community Economic Development meeting Thursday evening, and then we'll be reading at the library and also participating in barbecuing. So looking forward to a fun week ahead. So we will, well, we don't have any open mic because we don't have any online, so we'll move on to upcoming events. We'll just have somebody make a motion, please, to accept this as information. Councillor Messaros?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, and then we're just going to have a motion to go in camera, please.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Heistad. All in favor?
Yeah, this is my last one.
Okay, thanks. Okay,